What athlete doesn't dream of becoming a pro? Can you imagine the buzz when you get out on the field or onto the court? However, only a small few of high school and college athletes make it to the big leagues. So what's the secret of the success? Hi, I'm Jennifer Nickerson, and this is Chasing Dreams.
I'm gonna chase my dreams down this big open road. I'm not gonna stop till I find that open door. You might say I'm crazy, that I'm just wasting time, but don't you worry, 'cause it's not your dream, it's mine.
My guest today knows exactly what it's like to fulfill the pro dream of playing in the NFL. He started as a wide receiver for the San Diego Chargers and came to our America team, the Dallas Cowboys. Today, I'm talking to Patrick Crayton. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad that you're here today with us. Wouldn't have it with anyone else.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're going to steer clear from Monday night because we don't want to bring all the viewers just down and out right away. So we're going to stay away from Monday night, but dear God, help us.
Yeah, please help us.
Right?
Please help us.
Okay, so tell us, we do want to talk about your life in the NFL. First of all, congratulations to all your accomplishments.
Thank you, ma'am.
Because it's a dream of so many that so few get to accomplish.
Right.
So tell us, let's go straight to the NFL life. What was that like? Tell us the day in the life of an NFL player.
Day in the life. Which part of the year are you talking about?
I guess that's true. Okay, let's go with the spring. So training starting, yeah. We'll go through
So
the year.
training a day in the life, usually we would have multiple training times. We'd have a 7:30, a 10, and a 12:30. I usually go to a 10 o'clock. So I don't have to get up too early, but it was just early enough so I could be done by noon. And then whatever other business stuff I may have going on off the field, appearance or family or whatever, then I would go do that. And then we start that. That's 4 days a week. So Wednesday being your off day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, hit it hard, have a 2-day weekend. Back again, the same routine. Then it comes into more of when you start going into OTAs and minicamp. And those are a little bit different.
And what month is that starting?
That usually starts in May, after the draft and everything, stuff like that. So once you get the rookies to come in, and then we start going into basically organized practices. Start implementing and installing the offense, the defense, special teams, just how the daily grind is going to be moving forward to get ready for training camp and in the season.
And when you were here, training camp was where?
Training camp, we had it between Oxnard and San Diego and San Antonio.
Okay.
So yeah, it's loved Oxnard, hated it in San Antonio.
Yeah, there's not a lot there and it's hot.
No, the thing about the difference between those, so you're in Oxnard, you're basically on your own compound. So you don't have to leave it for anything. So we never had to take a bus to go anywhere. We didn't have to go anywhere to get food or anything like that. So you basically have like an apartment. And so you can walk to everything within the compound of everything. So weather's great, 60, 65 in the morning. It's usually no hotter than about 82, 83, and that's a heat stroke for them, which is crazy. And then you go to San Antonio and you got to get bussed back and forth between the hotel, the Alamo Dome, and there's fans everywhere, and you have to learn how to sneak around the hotel just to avoid, sometimes to kind of get some normalcy.
Yeah,
So
some privacy.
That's why I always liked Oxnard better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you said, the weather already just
can't beat
knocks
that
it off
weather.
the chart. Yeah. Okay, so then you go into the fall, and now the season is beginning. You got preseason and the
Yes.
season. So that's what these guys dream of. No one's really thinking about spring training camp
Right,
and all of the
right.
training days. They just want to play in those games. So I want to know, actually, your first game. Do you remember the first pro game of running out in the field and what that was like with all the energy?
Absolutely. It's kind of a surreal moment you have that, you're finally at this moment. And then it's a big rush. And you have to really kind of calm down to take it in a little bit. And once you get calm, then you realize it's just football at the end of the day. It's still 11 on 11. It moves a little bit faster than what you're used to from college and high school, but it's still 11 on 11. And these are grown men, though. That's another thing you got to remember.
Yeah, this isn't high school or
Yeah,
college.
it's not high school or college. No, they hit a little bit harder.
They are big. Yeah, gosh. Some of these guys I was watching Monday, and was it Poe? Is that his last name?
Dante Paul?
He's ginormous.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Gosh, totally different than high school and college. Okay, so the season's going. What's that like? I would love to know in-town and out-of-town games. Is there a difference of your schedule during the day?
No, not really. As far as during the week. So I'll give you a game week.
Okay.
So let's start off. Our game week starts Wednesday. So Wednesday we're in there. I would usually get up 6:30, 6:45. Try to be at the complex around 7:15, 7:20, because special team starts 8 o'clock.
Now, did you have to go to the training facility back in Valley Ranch?
Yeah,
during
we're
this
back in
time?
Valley Ranch.
And then you bust into the home games.
No,
Right.
we didn't bust into the home games. No. So that starts on a Wednesday. We're just like a regular work day for everybody else. We're there till about 5:30. Monday, Tuesday, Friday we would get done a little bit early around 1. Saturday, have a pretty much meeting, walk through, and then if we were traveling, chance to go home, pack your bag and everything, then we drive straight to the airport. So we meet at DFW. There's a back road on the backside back there that you come into, and we walk in, they would have TSA by the plane. So you do that little quick check, and then
Charter
you're on the
flight,
plane and
you're way off.
you're off. Where if we were at home, Saturday after we're done with our walkthrough and everything, you got the rest of the day to kind of hang out.
But on a
take a nap.
Saturday, could you go home, or you
Yeah.
had to stay at the hotel?
No, on a Saturday you went home,
Okay.
kind of hang, watch football all day, whatever you need to do. Then we had to report into the hotel by 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah, so 8:30, start team meeting at 9. Go through all our last checks and balances. Curfew's at 11. Get up for Sunday. Get it
Wow.
going. Yeah.
Those curfews, though, especially when you're a rookie in the
Yeah.
league, I know that that's hard to abide by,
It's
because you
not.
made it. You don't think it's hard? But some of the guys, because you
Not
hear
for a
these
rookie.
stories,
Not for a rookie.
because they're forced to, they have to be in there.
You're at this point. Why would you mess it up by being late to curfew?
That's a good point, because you do hear some of the guys out there that
Yeah, idiots.
throw away pretty quick because they get a little too
Idiots.
excited.
Yeah, idiots.
Okay, well, I want to know about, because the second part of this is the actual dream chasing. So tell us more about like where you grew up and the evolution of your dream being chased into high school, and when did you decide you want to pursue the career in football, and then also let's talk about your big break of transition into.
Gotcha. Grew up right here in Dallas, Texas. Went to DeSoto High School. So I'm a proud Fighting Eagle. I love my alma mater. I still follow them every year, no matter how much it disappoints me every once in a while. They've been successful the last 15 plus years. So that's been good to see the program going in the right direction. So that's where I went to high school, graduated there.
And do you go back there?
I do go back there, yes.
Get involved? Okay.
My mom still stays there in DeSoto.
Oh, awesome.
So she's still out there. I still go by and check out the alma mater. I still talk to a bunch of people that I went to high school with. So, everything's still good there. I still love that city, and I love that school and program.
Well, I'm sure they're so proud.
Yeah,
to
and
have
it's
you
been
be
quite
a
a few of us.
alumni.
It's been quite a few of us who have come through there and have continuously put DeSoto on the map, both academically and sports.
That's awesome.
So
you had
I'm
a
trying to keep
good
that going.
experience of football there, and
Yeah.
then you transitioned into picking your college.
College, I went to Northwestern Oklahoma State. Very small school out in the middle of nowhere. It's in Alva, Oklahoma. So we were actually NAIA when I was there. They're Division II now. So I was.
Did people know of it when you went, or was it a
No.
popular school?
There's still people who don't know of it that are in Oklahoma.
Well, in that, to me, I've told you, I have a nephew that's a senior at Prosper High School playing football, and the idea is you want to go to these big schools.
Yeah.
But in your advice to these guys looking for a school to go to right now, they're about to graduate, do you recommend them going to schools that are smaller, bigger?
I think you have to pick the best fit for yourself. Go with the school, number one, that wants you. Number two, with the one that makes you feel the most comfortable when you go and visit. Those are the two biggest things, because you're possibly going to spend the next 4 to 5 years of your life at this institution. So you want to feel comfortable and feel wanted and feel loved, and you have to decide for yourself: is this that school? Is this not that school? Because if it doesn't feel good inside, it might not be a good choice. So that's the thing, and you got to know that when you first come in, everybody that's at that school was probably a stud on their team. So the competition level goes up that much more. So you got to be ready to be like, nothing's going to be just handed to you. If you go in there and work, and you'll earn it.
Okay, so you're there, and then fast forward, you're about to graduate, and you're looking at the pro life, which most college football players want that. So Tell us about that transition to it's really happening. Because obviously you grew up wanting to be a football player.
You know what? I actually didn't even give the professional sport like a true thought probably until my junior year when my coach came to me about it.
Okay, perfect. Let's talk about that. What was that switch to make you think that's attainable now?
He talked to me about it. I was fortunate enough. My college, we played in 3 national championship games when I was in college, so that already put us kind of on the map for the NFL to be recognized. What are they doing out there? They must have some players. They're going to this, and they're winning like this. So that put us on the map, and my coach was like, look, scouts are going to be here. You're going to get looked at. And we kind of changed the offense a little bit. I went from receiver to quarterback my senior year.
That's a big change.
It was a big change.
What was that like for you? You spent all this time investing in this one position.
I did, but I had also played some backup while I had been there the previous few years. And so he was like, the offense that I want to run, you're my best option at that, to be able to run, pass, orchestrate the offense, take it to where we need to take it to get us back to basically to the mountaintop.
He knew what he was talking about.
He knew what he was talking about. It worked. And the craziest thing, I remember him calling me over the summer. He mentioned it and he talked to me about it. And I was like, well, I said, are you going to take my punt return and kickoff returns? He's like, no. I said, well, okay, if it's going to help us win, then I'm in.
All right.
So we made that switch. We made that switch and went back to the national championship game my senior year.
Wow. Okay, so now it's time you're graduating. What's next? How did you decide?
I didn't have to decide. The Cowboys made that choice for me. They drafted me in the 7th round, and so that began my transition from college to professional sports. And then you learn quickly that it's a little bit different than college. No one's coming to wake you up. There's no alarm. There's no. You set your own. Be there. If you don't, we will hit you where it hurts the most, and that's your pockets. And no one wants their money taken from them.
Because you get fined for
everything. So you learn how to be on time.
Yes.
You learn how to be on time. Yeah, I got fined my 2nd year. The one time I was late to a meeting, 7 minutes cost me $1,500.
Oh my gosh. Is that the only time you were fined?
That's the only time I was, exactly right.
One and done.
That's a one and done.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, so you're here in Dallas. I mean, that's amazing because you're in your hometown playing for the NFL. I mean, that doesn't always happen. That's, I know, a dream to be in your hometown, but that's incredible. So,
it was funny because my former teammate, Jock Reeves, DeSoto and Lancaster border each other. We're separated by I-35. So he was at Lancaster when I was at DeSoto. We both wind up getting drafted here to Dallas the same year. Classmates, and we were actually roommates during our first rookie year in the preseason.
Oh, how
So during OTAs, mini camp, and all that stuff, we were roommates the whole time. So that was kind of interesting to have both the hometown guys right here, put them together in the hometown. You know what I'm saying? Literally across the highway from one another.
That is so neat. And not to age us, but you were in the old stadium.
I was in the old stadium and the new one.
Okay, so but the majority of it was in the old stadium, right?
Correct,
So which one do you like better? Is there one?
Tick Stadium, the original.
That's how I feel. I mean, let's be honest, the bells and whistles are pretty.
Yeah.
But my first visit to the new stadium, I was a little sad because the nostalgia of football stadiums, no more.
Yep. I mean, it gave you, like you said, just that you could walk in and it smelled like football.
Yes.
You go in a new one and I smell
perfume,
cotton
air
candy,
freshener.
cotton candy, and I was like, this is not football.
I'm like, there's diamond chandeliers and marble flooring. Like, that's fine. And it's the taste of the Jones family. So let it be. It's their money. It should be what they want. But for football, I'm glad to hear you say that because...
Yeah, definitely. But you got to realize, because that's all I've ever known, too, being here in Dallas. So we actually played high school games in that stadium as well. So to have it was fun to hear about the new one, and you're expecting all this stuff, but then you get in there and it's like, this just does not feel like football. And so that very first year we're there, we called it the cheese and wine crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Because people just sat there basically to look at the building and watch the game on the TV. So there'd be a delay every time there was a big play. Because 75% of the people are watching the TV and it's a delay on it. Another 25% are watching the game.
Yeah. So when you're talking to your kids, their friends, or any event for that matter, with the highs and lows, because I want to ask you about that too, because not everything's perfect being
Correct.
in the NFL. You arrive and there's, I'm sure, some lows. What do you bring to conversation and encouragement of the reality that it isn't just the NFL and the fans and the
Correct. Oh, yeah.
glamour?
You know what? With my kiddos, we never talk about professional sports unless we're watching. You know, and they very rarely sit down and actually watch games with me. My oldest, he's a Seattle Seahawks fan.
No.
Yes.
Where did he get that?
He jumped on that wagon when they got Russell Wilson.
Oh.
So he's that, and that's one thing we'll say about him. He has been tried and true with the Seahawks. But of course, you know, whenever Seahawks and Dallas get together, there's a rivalry week that comes up the whole week.
I love you, but not this week.
But not this week, dude. Not this week. You know, so there's different stuff that we pass between one another, you know, throughout the day.
That's awesome.
Leading up to that whole week. So he'll shoot me something on social media, and I'll shoot a jab back on him on social media. So he's got bragging rights right now. So I still have to hear it.
Well, everybody has bragging rights against us
Well,
right now.
except for people in the division.
That's true. Oh, well.
And that's not even saying
Yeah, I
much,
was about to
but,
say, for real. Okay, so, but in the pursuit of football, what do you, what does that talk like to these guys when they ask you questions about, I want to do it too, and how did you get there? Like, what do you do to bring them down to reality, that it isn't just...
You know, the biggest thing that I do when I've done individual training with receivers, the one thing I talk about them is the small things. Coach Parcells will always talk to me about the small details so they don't become huge problems. Take care of the small stuff. If I tell you to be at 9 yards, I don't need you at 8.5 or 10. I need you at 9. If I tell you +2 inside the numbers, I need you at +2. I don't need you on top of the numbers trying to catch the ball because the quarterback's throwing it to a spot. So it was always the small things that I always paid attention to. And so that's what I tell them whenever we're training. I said, it's the small things. I said, some things you're going to be able to get away with athleticism, but let's work on that small stuff so you don't have to overcompensate with just pure athleticism. Let's do the technique right. So that's my biggest thing. And whenever they ask me about how was it in the NFL, you know, I just really kind of shoot it to them straight. But I'd be like, hey, man, it's a grind. That's a grind. But I mean, if you embrace the suck, what we used to say, if you embrace the suck, then it becomes a joy. You know, you don't feel like you're working, the work becomes fun. And then you get to see the rewards of the progress come out when you start playing.
With that, what was a moment that you, or did you have a moment that you wanted to get out? It wasn't what you thought it was going to be, it got too hard, or did you have that?
Never had that moment.
Because some guys, they do. They get
Some
in
do.
and
I think some guys
they
do.
can't make it
They
happen.
realize that I didn't think it was going to be like this. You know, because there's a lot of politics involved. You know, just like anything in corporate world, you got to realize it's a Fortune 500 company. So there's a lot of politics that are involved with certain things. I mean, you can feel you're better than the guy in front of you, the guy next to you, but that guy may be making more on his salary. So they look at it as he's making more, I need to play him more so I can get my money's worth.
Which to that point, that's something that's not really thought about in the sense of in the corporate world, everyone's salaries is not blasted for everyone to find
True,
out.
that's another thing, yeah.
So y'all
That's
have
another
an
thing.
athletic competition, and
Yep.
then that's another level, especially if someone's not performing. I would
Correct.
probably really struggle with that. You're not performing, you're getting paid more than me. If
Yep.
that ever was to be the case, that would be hard too in the politics of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something you get introduced to. You know, you never thought it's like, we were always so much like competition. Whoever wins competitions is one's going to play more. Whoever's producing more is going to play more. When you get to that pro level, it's not always that way.
Yeah. Well, as we close, what are some final thoughts that, you know, whether high school guys, college guys, they're trying to get that big break, what would you leave them with encouragement of not giving up? And
I think the biggest thing they have to say is, number one, how much do you really want it? Are you willing to do the sacrifice when no one's looking? You know, when a coach is not around, or when the parent's not around, or you're going to go and get up and do your own training without having someone to have to push you? Can you be a self-motivator? That's one of the biggest things you have to do. And can you take coaching? I know this is a different generation. So some of the kids, you see it a lot at the high school level, the pro level, the college level, that can't handle an ass chewing. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
But they can't take a coach being all in their face and getting yelled at and getting scolded in front of everyone.
Well, it's the participation trophy era.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
You show up and you get a hug.
I've never been a fan of it.
Yeah, me neither. I was not raised that way.
So,
you lose,
you
you lose. You win, you win. And if you lose, you try harder next time.
That's it. So my biggest thing that I've always said, especially to my kids, is, look, I'm not here to be your friend when I'm coaching, dude. I'm not even your dad right now. I'm your coach first. Mm-hmm. And I said, you're probably going to get yelled at more than anybody else on this field, simply because you're my son and I can talk to you crazy like that versus talking to the other kids as much. I'll still give them a piece as well, but I've never been shy in leaning into my kids or my other kids that I've always coached, and the parents trust that and they understand that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not gonna baby your kids. They like, they're yours. And we let them know, when they're on this field, they're ours. Y'all don't have to do anything. Sit back, watch, admire. If you have something to ask me, we'll talk after practice. We'll talk another day, whatever it is. I said, but when we're in these white lines, it's 50 by 100, they're mine.
Well, and that's some good advice for them to take home. Probably what they're watching. It's a good example of probably what these parents need a little more impartation of at home.
Oh, yes.
And just the day-to-day. But just even those last things, that fits, yes, for the NFL, but it also fits for every job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being a self-motivator, handling constructive criticism, being your best, failing, bouncing back quick. I mean, we all need that.
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of it, right now with the season we're in, how much more self-motivation do we all need individually? Boy. And bouncing back with all the different failure and closed doors going on around us and waiting for the big break, but giving it your all. Right. And what a amazing pleasure and just experience to give it your all and then find yourself in your footsteps where it paid off and you got to...
It was good. It was worth it.
Live that season of life, which I know you're still living your best life, so it's not over too in what you're doing.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's just keeping on going forward and being the best you can be. Thank you so much for watching Chasing Dreams. It's a Grace Point Media production, so thank you, Grace Point, for having us. I also want to thank Lakes at Castle Hills Country Club for having us out here. If you've not been here, you definitely want to come to Louisville and check it out. It's unbelievable. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.
Like you're dreaming.